Welcome to So You Think Your Car is Fast, where we dive into the world of high-end, fast cars and explore what it truly means to have a fast car. From the latest in supercar technology to the mechanics that make these machines go, we'll separate fact from fiction and uncover the misconceptions about speed and power that exist in the minds of the general public. Join us as we put the pedal to the metal and discover what it takes to have a car that truly lives up to the title of fast.
And we're back. So you think your car is fast? Do you, Taylor? Do you think your car is fast? Dan?
At one point, I may have.
I don't think I'm fast anymore. This year has been like the fast hammer has been beating us down into the ground over and over again. You are not fast.
We have been thored. Man, it's been some time. But we've got lots to discover and go over. Starting first, I would say let's talk about shift sector. Let's talk about standings, point standings. Indianapolis, as much as I hate to say it.
Did we talk about Kansas already? I think we did, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay. It's been a long time, fellas.
Yeah. Well, getting there was almost didn't even get there with trailer problems.
So you had leaf springs broke.
I broke the U-bolts came off of one set of leaf springs on the double axle, and I probably drove 200 miles that way until I noticed. So I got it fixed in Cave City, Kentucky. Shout out to that little shop that helped me out.
You went through
Sat there for 4 hours, huh?
You went through Kentucky.
Yeah,
I bet they don't use the interwebs there.
That was your first problem.
What's a podcast?
So they fixed it for me. Everything was fine. And then I got into Indianapolis to get gas, and I noticed the trailer was listing again, looked underneath, and a whole leaf spring was broken. And it wasn't the one that had been repaired. So
is that how they fixed it? They just took parts from one side and fixed the other, and they're like, this ought to be all right.
They'll never know. So I limped into Marion, like 70 miles at 40 miles an hour. And I called a mobile trailer repair, and he came out over the weekend and fixed it while I was at the track.
Well, so looking back, do you feel like this was like a sign of things to come?
I thought, 8 hours into the trip, I probably shouldn't be going,
But you're no quitter, Todd.
I'm no quitter. So we ended up pulling the car off the trailer, did an initial hit, and it broke up in every gear, just misfired. Brought it back in, and had Jared tuning because Wayne was busy, and I made another hit, and it felt better, and we're like, oh, we fixed it. And then Jared's like, on the third run, he's like, let's throw some boost at it. And then after that, it just would never hit boost in any gear. So I think I ran a 158 or something. So went for points, and I didn't put up a goose egg, though. I didn't realize, I forgot that you do one pass and you get a point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after getting your butt kicked all weekend, it's understandable. You're like,
but I didn't even want to drive it on Sunday, right? I did pass it Saturday and Friday and Saturday. So I got 2 whole points, but I could have gotten another point. So if I lose first place by 1 point, I'm going to kill myself. Jason called me. He's like, hey, you could have run one more day and got another point.
You say, hey, that information would have been a lot more useful Sunday morning, Jason. Yes, that was definitely a wedding singer reference. You got it.
Yes.
That information would have been a lot more useful yesterday.
Yeah, so he calls me yesterday and told me that. I'm like, well, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Really helps me out. So the car is still in the trailer. I'm just disgusted with it at this point. But Steve asked for it, so we're going to bring it up there, and he's going to find that misfire, and we're going to be ready for Abilene, maybe.
What would we do without Steve?
We would play Quake.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Gamers.
That's what I have. I got a new monitor for my computer so I could play Quake.
We would be gamers. But it was good to see everybody. Antonio Calvo took a big tumble in that green Viper.
I saw the video, dude. That did not look good.
Yeah. Went
Is
sideways.
that Viper, is that a shop car?
No, that's a customer car, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure whose car it was. You know, there's questions you don't ask. That was one of
Yeah,
them.
no, not. I mean, you can maybe ask it now, but not when it happens.
Yeah, hey, whose car? Yeah, not a good
I
look.
mean, it's that's one of those situations that you're always like, what if, like, right, like who fixes it now?
Yeah.
Well, somebody sent me a photo of him like doing a little dance in front of the
Hospital.
emergency
The
room
hospital.
leaving. I was like, okay, well that's it. You know, Antonio's fine when he's doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He was able to walk away. He had, good safety gear, good seat, all that stuff.
How about Morris's vet?
Oh, he was pitted next to us, and he's got himself a nice little team there. And
All family, isn't it? Or a
yeah,
lot
it
of
seems like the whole family's
Yeah,
out there.
That's kind of cool.
But the cool thing is, he would go out and he'd break something,
And then fix
they'd fix it. I mean, they were breaking like differentials and like big stuff, and have that thing up on a lift. And it rained, and they were out there working on it in the rain. And yeah, they've got some dedication there.
Yeah.
So he put up, I think, a 240. He did really well. Well. And then
fast vet.
it is a fast vet, the fastest one. AIM was out there with several customer cars. They were putting up really good numbers.
They always do, man. They always do.
I got the picture of Antonio up.
Oh yeah,
Manny got it for me.
thanks, Manny. Oh, there he is. Yep, good old Antonio. So AIM had 991s, 996s. Ryan's brother Sean has an 1100 horsepower 996, the black one, and he won. He was like running 190 or 189, 188, and he took both, I think, like all 3 days, but he did really well.
I wondered when I looked at the standings and I noticed him, like, he shot up, and I was like, wow, that he just did one event. And but then I remembered it was the manual class.
Then they had Christine in her 991. She was running lights out, like I want to say like 205, maybe even 210.
I don't know, Christine.
Is
it the white one?
Yeah, the car was brand new. I think they just finished it, and then she went off backwards quarter mile into the corn and ass dived into a dip.
Oh, I saw
her fastest run was a 210.
210, yeah.
Did not look ideal, no.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the deal? Why were people going off? Was it slippery up there, or was it just bad luck?
I think Christine, in her case, I think she got on the brakes real hard, real too quick. Right after the finish, Calvo broke traction, I think, right after the finish line. So I don't know exactly what happened with his.
I talked to him about it. The rear end broke.
Oh yeah,
and like one of the rear tires locked up.
Oof.
And so just instead of like, normally if you do it, through power, right? Like one wheel spins faster than the other one and you go, sideways, it kicks out on you. But this one, it pulled him in the opposite direction. So it's kind of weird.
But I think he had said something maybe it wasn't him. Was it him that said something? He thought maybe something started to break on a wheel hop.
Yeah, like he did like
on the burnout,
like a little chirp kind of thing for the burnout and clean the tires off or heat them up. I'm not sure which. And then he said it hopped on him there and he thought it broke.
Well, I was
in hindsight, he knew that. It's probably when it broke.
I didn't see it happen. I was at the beginning of the start, in the I guess the hangar where HPL Horsepower Lounge was, and we were in David's trailer, and I came out of the trailer and I heard the helicopter fire up because that's where the helicopter sits. And I'm like, oh, that's not good, And so it took off, and I was on my scooter and I was going back to my pit, and then the helicopter flew over me and landed again. So I turned around and I went back to the chopper and I asked one of the crew, I said, hey, what happened? He goes, oh, they called us off. I'm like, oh. I go, that's a good thing or a really bad thing? He's like, yeah, I think he's okay. They're just going to take him in an ambulance. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was weird. I'm like, holy crap, they called it off. Yikes.
Well, so we had the helicopter there ready to go. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They do a good job, that? Like the whole thing. I mean, obviously there's there was a big push for safety equipment and proof why it's important. And then the couple things that I've seen, they've been really quick to respond, like emergency services. I mean, even when they thought I was on fire and they got out there real quick.
Well, they're out there. What they do is when there's a car that's got a potential to go really fast, they put them on extra double security alert.
They're like, hey, by the way, somebody fast is going to go.
Yeah, every time the big UGR car goes, or
the Viper,
or Morris, they put them on alert, so they're ready to go. But other than that, they're still fast. They're still very responsive. The crews out there that Jason hires are really good.
Well, as Jason pointed out, to this day, there has never been a broken bone.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Really?
There were 3 wrecks. There was a C5, black C5 Corvette that tumbled as well.
Was it just the grass was damp, or because normally you stay flat, but it seems
it was. They had gotten a lot of rain. A big Class A RV got stuck in the grass. They had to pull him out. It was muddy.
Yeah, that's what sends the car's end over.
Do you remember in the right lane the bump at the big end, right before the big end?
Taylor knows it well.
I do. Yeah, that's made an
right.
Impression.
Well, there's a bump at the big end of the left lane now after the end. Yeah.
Oh, so you just gotta drive a little chicane and then you're all right.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the brakes in that dip, but other than that, I mean, we had rain on Saturday, I think, but other than that, the weather was really good. I mean, the only problem is it was a deadhead wind the entire weekend, 15, 20 mile an hour. So going 258 in a 15 mile an hour headwind, man.
Yeah.
That underground car was a 260 plus easily.
It feels like underground just comes out and tries to reset records when they have a customer who gets excited, right? Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like they're going to have the record. It seems nobody's going to take it from them except for maybe David Perlman. And they're just like, meh, we got a customer who wants to do it, has the budget, let's go. And
it's always a new guy. Mark Rao was out there, and the kid that had the green car is like,
Have you ever actually gone and looked at the Arizona Cycle Parts website?
Yes.
That is the craziest thing to look at. Everybody who watches this should go to Arizona. This isn't an advertisement. You should go to their webpage and just spend 2 minutes.
That's exactly what they'd say if it was an advertisement.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I can give them the address to send the check. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The stuff they have on there is absolutely insane, and it's fun to look at. So I don't know. I lost an hour looking at it in my search for cam housings. Did we ever show my cam housings?
Yes, we did.
I don't remember if we did or we didn't.
It got a full GT3 RS with a missing front clip.
Oh yeah,
they have cool stuff.
Manny, can you pull that up for us?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he can.
Does he still work here?
Well, he works on demand.
Did anybody call him in today?
Well, I went and picked him up.
Yeah, so 3 days next year, you guys got to make it because it's a points fest if you have a running car.
Man, I could have rented something in reality, right?
You really could have.
If Jason totally just wouldn't schedule all these races on my kids' birthdays, that would help.
Well, it's like every birthday schedule.
Well, every event is at a kid's birthday. It's wild.
But what else happened?
Well, there's my cam housings.
Oh, we're gonna. Should I add to the stream? There we go.
Oh, I mean, they look nice. They're not doing much right there, though.
They are. John Bray called me yesterday.
Are they a part of your engine at this point?
They are a part of my engine.
Engine pile.
So, yeah. So I guess the current status is that he said that my cylinder liner, and I remember saying this on the last show, my cylinder liners, which are really just sleeves, right, were not shaped correctly, and he wants them to be round. They were more ovular. And so he got new ones, and he's setting piston to wall clearance and sizing them and everything. So he did it again, and the brand new ones were still not in the right shape. And so he discovered that his fixture was worn, and so I guess they had to like redo that machine work fixture. And I don't know if it's something that's at his shop or if it's somewhere at a machine shop. I don't really know the specifics of that, but that took a while, and he went off desert racing. He was doing like Can-Am, like
Side-by-side stuff.
yeah, like almost trophy truck, but not quite. Like they did like 11 and a half hours behind the wheel kind of thing. So it was a really long race. Sounds like great fun, but I think the upshot of it is not much was happening at the shop in terms of solving process and procedure problems without John there. So my stuff sat for another week or two. But he says it's going together this week and will ship next week. So barring any immediate problems, I might actually have stuff pretty soon.
Well, Steve's going to be busy this winter then. he's gonna put your car together. He's going to take mine apart and put mine back together.
Yeah, I talked to John about yours a little bit, and I talked about mine, and like we have, I don't know what the wording for it is, but we have intertwined goals in the sense that your engine is wanting to blow by too much gas, and I don't want mine to do that. And I was talking to him about, like I mentioned earlier, piston to cylinder clearance and a few other things, and he actually told me some numbers, and well, obviously I won't repeat them here. It was not incredibly loose. It did not sound incredibly loose. In fact, it sounded very reasonable to me. So I'm kind of surprised. I don't know what, I haven't quite reconciled that yet, but he was saying the engine in Black Betty, the engine in your car, and the engine in my car are, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same. I mean, there's various differences in terms of, this valve spring versus that valve spring, or, somewhat inconsequential things in that big picture, at least surrounding, compression of the engine. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what yours does on the new turbos once you get the just worked out. And when is the new intake manifold going on? Is that a thing?
Oh, that's going to be a winter thing. That's going to be after Abilene. We're going to go to Abilene as the car sits, but we have to sort out the misfire. It'll run fast as is. We just need to get it sorted before we send it out. And then the new intake, new harness, that's all going to be done in the winter.
Well, hopefully Steve can get my engine in and things go well. When is Abilene?
It's basically, I think 28th and 29th of October.
Oh, the end of October. All right. So we have 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Hey, let's rewind the clock back to March. How did those predictions age? Not so graceful.
Not so well. Yep.
So I'm fresh out of predictions, but we'll see.
I don't know. It's really all up to Steve and how quickly he wants to get yours done, right?
Well, there's a lot to do with mine. The fuel pump setup is changing.
Oh, okay.
The engine, of course, has changed. Although really externally, I don't know that really that much has changed. But I officially removing the last silly rabbit component from the car. So we're going to a stock fuel pump assembly feeding a surge tank, which will be running the brushless pump controlled by the Injector Dynamics brushless pump controller, the BPC as they call it.
So basically you're going to run the same pump system that I have, and I think Taylor has too, right?
Yeah. I mean, we were very similar. I was just using that in-tank basket. So my entire car it was making 1,400 wheel horsepower, one fuel pump.
Oh,
which
wow.
I called it one pump to rule them all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good, but it's also not good because that silly rabbit basket was a little haphazard in the way that it filled. And
well, if you think about it, you only need the in-tank fuel pump to fill the surge tank.
Yes.
That's all it's doing. So a stock pump is fine.
Yeah, it's relatively low pressure, high volume. It'll fill that surge tank. I don't know what the exact numbers are. We can figure it out. It'd be interesting math, but what's the volume of the surge tank? Is it like 2 liters? Is it 3 liters? I don't know, something like that probably. And then how long does it take running our cars flat out to use 2-3 liters of fuel? I mean, I think it's a little while.
Speaking of that, you know what Morris told me? He goes, they use 8 gallons per half mile pull. 8 gallons.
8 gallons?
Yeah. I think we use about a gallon, right? 8 gallons.
Well, he's running methanol
As a fuel?
as a fuel.
Yeah, as a fuel. Oh, okay.
So you need, I don't remember the numbers, but you need like double the amount of methanol that you need ethanol in order to run. So there's that.
So you have not even tried the new gearbox yet, or have you?
I have not. It is in Steve's possession, and in fact, I don't know that Steve's even opened the crate since he got it back from Bill. Because Bill was supposed to send, which I assume that Bill did, but trust but verify. But Bill was supposed to send my factory gear set back with it. And I mean, that's expensive, right? I mean, that's like, I don't know, $8,000 worth of gears, right? So I don't want to just leave them with Bill. I want them.
You didn't want to just give it like as a tip or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I ever build a second transmission, or if I ever, want to just drive the car around nonchalantly on the street again someday, I'd put those gears back in that box. More likely, what I would really do is just find a completely destroyed box and use it as a donor and put my gears in it. But with the straight cut gears that are in that car now, or in that trans now, it's gonna whine a little bit.
So Taylor, what's the latest with your car? I think I just saw you bring it down here to Steve, huh?
Yeah, I was just down at Driver's Source, I guess 2 days ago. Just a quick day trip to Houston and back. Just, that's always a good time.
What's going on?
Driving to Houston.
I don't even know.
Cams?
I'm having an existential crisis with my cars. Like, do I just sell them all and go live in a cave? I don't know.
Well, if you sold them all, you could probably buy a small island.
Exactly.
Well, it would be a nice cave. I mean,
it'd be a nice island,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been disappointed in my car.
I think we all have this year. We've all been.
I debated unloading it, even selling it, starting over. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, but maybe I'll come to Abilene.
I know how this is gonna go. I can see it.
I'm not sure you do.
It is written. You have been bludgeoned over the head by the fast hammer this year many times, and we all have, and we're all losing sight of the prize. But I guarantee you, the first time that thing works and does what you want it to do, and you go fast, you'll be like,
I'm back, baby.
You'll be happy.
It's like, you go play golf. It's that,
you're
70 bad shots and then that one good shot. Oh man, golf is awesome. I'm coming back.
I think it is like that. Taylor's trying not to smile right now. You can see
Taylor's. I don't know he's trying to hold something close.
He's trying. He's trying not to crack.
Yeah, I have some things that are happening that I don't know. I'm just probably playing them close to my chest for now. But Steve's got my car. I took it down to Steve because I want him to do a once over of pretty much everything. Check the suspension, alignment, ride height.
All a very good idea.
Tore the front lip off the stupid car the other day.
Oh.
So we're gonna try to fix that. All that kind of stuff.
And
it's supposed to get cams and my smaller turbos.
Oh.
Going the other way.
I see.
I don't know. I don't even remember if we talked about that on the last episode. I spent some time talking to Robert at FP.
Okay.
Smart guy. Super nice, too. I mean, like, just a good guy that you can tell he's passionate. He's excited. I mean, he wanted to sit me down and teach me about it and, like, just explain it all. And at the time, I felt like I was learning. I don't know if I could teach anybody anything that he told me. I don't know it that well. but I'm pretty confident in the turbo setup that we decided to go with. So out of our 14 listeners, if anybody needs some 95,
I do.
64 super cores,
I'll take them.
I'll cut you a great deal. They have
need backups.
They have 1/2 mile event on them. That's it.
Just put them to the side. Just keep them for me for a rainy day.
There you go. I actually don't even know who uses that size. I don't know if I don't need those. So
But like it came down to the question of if you do change the cams, is that going to raise the VE of the engine enough to get those turbos out of surge? And that was like a we don't know kind of thing, right? So you change the cams because it was there had been some R&D done by John B and by Juan to show that it needed more cam, but you also dropped the turbo size to be safe and just get some good passes out of the car, right? Isn't that kind of the goal? Is just get some good passes out of the car?
I mean, look, I'm not 100% on the surge bandwagon, but either way, regardless of cams, I just don't need that much turbo. I mean, there's not a situation that I will use what that turbo has. So I mean, I made a mistake, I think, going that big. I went against all turbo theory of choosing the smallest turbo that'll accomplish your goals, and I just went with the biggest turbo that we could fit in there. So I think, I have a desire to make the car streetable, and I'd like to drive it on the street again. And I think the 78s will be a lot better for that than the 95s.
Yes.
So that's...
Look at you. You're all grown up.
Trying. But yeah, I know Steve's waiting on Bray because Bray's flying in to do my cams.
Cool. Making a house call.
Is that like next week then? Do we know?
It was supposed to be right this moment. Right today.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a delay.
Planes aren't flying out of Arizona right now.
I think it's too hot.
Yeah, it's way too hot to fly.
You get to be 115 degrees and the planes don't take off. That's what.
Yeah, that's a valid excuse.
But hey, they found my Escalade.
Oh, update. Yeah. And what are you going to do? Buy back?
If you remember, I mean, everybody told me kiss it goodbye. And then I guess my insurance company decided they would pay me out on a Friday. That was their 15-day, total loss payout. And then on Monday, I get a call that says, hey, looks like we found it. So then I was worried, is the insurance company going to back out? They didn't. It worked out fine. But so they found it in Amarillo. It had been re-VINed.
It went north?
It was part of a narcotics bust. So the detective that called me from Amarillo told me, I mean, I guess I can say this because I don't know any of the details, but he said he was helping a narcotics detective up in like Oklahoma City. And he goes, I don't even deal with this car theft stuff. He goes, we just happened to get them. And then it was a ridiculous confusion because the detective in Dallas that I originally talked to was kind of a car guy. And so we talked about stuff and talked about a TRX or whatever. Right. And they happened to pick up an Escalade and a TRX at the same time on the same bust. And so it just confused everybody because everybody was like, first they called me and they go, we got your TRX here. And I was like, no, you don't.
Do I know where my TRX is? Oh dear.
Yeah. So the Escalade was actually in pretty good shape. I mean, you could tell on the pictures, there was some, curb rash. I don't know how many miles were put on it. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that the thieves re-VINed the car, but left my license plate on the back.
Yeah, that was
that just seems like maneuver. I mean, they ripped off my toll tag and disabled OnStar Fast. Fair, right? Re-VINed it. I get it. And then you leave the tag on it. The one that like any police car that scans it, it's reported stolen. That's not.
Yeah, the guy who stole my trailer, he left the license plate on it too. That's how they found it. Like all he had to do was put any other plate on it and he wouldn't have gotten caught.
I mean, so I don't know. But Copart called me last week and was like, hey, because the whole mess. I mean, the Copart was calling me thinking I was the storage facility that had the Escalade. And I was like, no, I'm just the owner it got stolen from. They're like, oh, okay. So somebody will get it. I mean, I don't know if the Escalade's on Copart or it will be soon, but
well, thieves have never been known to be smart. All right, it's not a smart. It's not a smart occupation.
Yeah. So
I need a new Escalade. I was tempted to.
There you go, man.
Buy it back, but
so yeah, that was kind of funny. I surprised my son when he was out of town and had a Whipple installed on his Mustang.
Aren't you the best dad ever?
Or the dumbest one? I mean, Hey,
Is it
here's
still in one
6
piece?
I mean, he is. In fact, it's funny. I got a message from somebody that I know on Facebook that said, "Hey, is your son liking your Mustang? His Mustang? I saw him driving it the other day, and I was super impressed with how slow and responsible he was driving."
Wow. That's a
So,
good review.
That's good. That's good dadding there then.
yeah.
It just means the Whipple doesn't work.
Well, all of us kind of have a dad bone, now. So it's like,
Whoa.
you're gonna give your son what? Like,
We turned it down as much as we could. I mean, it's running a big pulley. In fact, I think it's bigger pulley than I've ever seen anybody run on a Whipple. So
There you go. You buy your pulleys like you buy your turbos.
Buy
Big
'em
of the
big.
grip.
pulleys are cheaper.
I am big. Man, it never happened to me before. As soon as my first kid was born, like everywhere I went, if anything like, kids running and I'd be like, careful, careful. It just comes out of you out of
Don't
nowhere.
run with the scissors.
It's like
Yeah.
genetic programming. Like all of a sudden we're like, careful.
It's my life.
So, are you planning on going to Abilene?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go to Abilene. I mean, I'm a little negative Nancy. That's my bias right now.
So let's get the cars together. Let's get them tuned.
Yeah.
And then make a good showing.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I know I've said before there's nothing else I can do, but I don't think there is anything else left to do after this other than get it to work.
Any other fast cars out at, there was a Mustang that went like 210 and a Corvette that went 210-ish. So the peasants have learned how to go faster.
A manual Transvet going 210?
I don't think it was a manual. Let's not get out of hand here.
Well,
Let's
I mean,
see.
it's possible because Morris goes like 230.
Yeah, but
but
he's in.
I'm just saying it's
I think he's
possible
in a
for
Power
that-
Glide. Yeah.
Yeah, Power Glide. I don't know. We've been, commenting, shall we say, on the 1500 horsepower Corvettes going 180 for a long time. So it wouldn't be shocking if they were faster now. But I mean, I don't know what their problem is. Like traction, I guess, because weight distribution in the car, it doesn't sit back and hook, or they're running the wrong tires, or I don't know. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, I have full faith that they make the power they say they do. I mean, it's a freaking.
But I don't know.
V8.
But the problem is dyno variance on power, then what they actually report, because I never report the right thing to shift sector. I'm always lower than what my car actually makes.
Listen
Yeah.
to this. Michael Stout, which I think is a Vengeance car, went 217
In what?
in a 14
Corvette?
Chevrolet Corvette. Yeah.
Huh?
Here's a GT, a Ford GT 350R 210.87.
Was that one of the Fat House cars?
Yeah.
Must be.
Fat Fab.
He came to play. McLaren's 177. I just didn't see any fast McLarens out there. Have we seen a McLaren go over 200 yet?
Mitch, M Engineering posted the other day that at some event they had the first McLaren go over 200. I didn't know that McLarens hadn't gone 200, but
I don't recall ever.
I don't see a lot of them at the events.
There was a fast one in Colorado Springs a few years ago, but it was in like the 180s or something, maybe 190s.
So Juan brought out Black Betty, the black 997, formerly owned by several people. 193. So they're shaking that car down. The first sighting of that car in what? 10 years?
Nah, not quite that long, but a while.
Oh, well, it's got to be at least 9 years, because I think it was 14 or 15 where Anthony Taylor had that out in Coalinga.
It was like 16 or 17, maybe.
No, because he had that car sold before I got the red car, and I bought that car at 16.
Oh, all right.
So let's say 8 years since that car's been out, and so it's back together, and they're dialing it in. It went 190s. Let's see here. Some Porsches 192.
But it went like 193 at like 20 pounds of boost though.
Yeah. It's 25 pounds, I think, of boost. It's pretty good. Stout qualifying runs, and Anthony Rodman in that the Ford GT 350R went in 192 in qualifying. And then the winner of manual class day one is what is it? Sean in the 2002 996 Turbo went 179. So it was up for grabs. I could have had a heyday.
It's really ever since the peasant comment.
It really has gone downhill
I mean,
since then.
Yeah, it really has.
Sissio was out there doing really well in that green R8 221. That car's pretty. Jaddy was out there.
What did Perlman run?
220, 230. He did real well until the car didn't do well. It broke. Dave Briggs did real well. 215 broke a 991 turbo record.
Yep.
215. That's moving.
In fact, didn't he break the record twice? It was like 213 when he got
214
there.
and
First day, it was like
215.
214 and then 2. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like Dave. He's a nice guy. He is just a good guy. I think I've said that before. That sounds weird.
He's great. He rolls up, he flies in, drives like, just like 4 or 5 210 plus runs, and then goes home. He's like,
He's like, I showed up, did my racing. I'm gonna go home now. Yeah.
And then I think they went to Pocono the next weekend, and he did really well. So
I always run into him in the hotel, like that awkward moment in the hallway. You walk by and you're like, I think that's him, but and then he's kind of looking at me. I'm kind of looking at him.
Shortly before,
Jessica Hasig in her 2013 Mustang went 207.
Okay. That's that blue one, right?
That's the blue one. Yeah, her and her husband are a team. Oh, Perlman, 236. 236 in that Huracan. Yeah.
That's fast. It's not 258, but it's
right.
It's booking.
Terrence was driving that.
Oh, that's right. I saw a video of that. Yeah. Terrence is freaking wild, man. He'll drive anything.
He is a wild man. He was the one that did that ran what 230 at 2K in the
GTR.
Lambo Assassins GTR, yeah.
I was just watching that video yesterday. That I still love that, man.
No. Morris Malone 241. Oh, here we go. Michael Stout 2000 horsepower C7 217.
I mean, that's where we're going to be. We're going to be 215 if our stuff works right.
Did you see Morris's horsepower number on his vet?
35 or something? 3,500?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, I looked up the methanol stoichiometric ratio is 6.5 to 1. So if gasoline is, stoic is like 14.5, then you're basically over twice as much fuel over gasoline.
And ethanol falls right kind of in the middle of that, doesn't it?
I can't remember what ethanol stoic is. It's 9 to 1.
Oh, okay.
So you need 30%, roughly 30% more. A little bit less than that.
There was an Aventador SVJ. Basically stock, I would imagine.
I got a buddy that just bought one of those.
161 miles an hour.
Stock.
Yeah. An old Mustang, 69 Mustang did 182.
Wow.
I wonder if that's that same guy. There was that guy with the old Mustang that was fast a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And then the STO from Underground went 246. And then I think Mark went 258, right? There's a Hellcat. Okay, look. 1,300 horsepower Dodge Challenger Hellcat, 173.
I was going to say 176.
1,300 horsepower, 173.
Yeah, they're so heavy, dude.
To put that in perspective, a 1,300 horsepower 991 will do 200 easily. Crazy.
Probably a little more, 202, 205. Some of my friends locally in Dallas are doing crazy things now. I signed up for it. Shipping cars to Colorado Springs, driving from Colorado Springs to Las Vegas, shipping cars home. So my dilemma is, do I take the GT3?
Is that a rally that's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Hoctane's rally?
Oh. If you want to go, I'll get you the info. It's gonna be a good time. Do I take the GT? I did the GT3 last time we did this. We went from Colorado Springs to Vegas, and it was fun, but the GT3 goes around corners really nicely.
Yeah, but it doesn't keep up.
But it was hard keeping up with the 911 turbos and the R8s and those guys that I was with. And I figure you drive that far and you're driving it at 10 tenths around tight corners, bad things are going to happen. So I wasn't going as fast as the car would go either.
Yeah.
Around the corners, which is what I would need to do to keep up with them in some cases. So I fell behind a couple times, but yeah. Or do I get another car, right? Like I could get a, like we're all kind of eyeballing 991 turbos right now, I think.
Yeah.
Like a 2017 991 turbo in a light blue color, like there's Riviera. If I could find one in Riviera blue, I think I would just close my eyes and buy. Yeah, that'd be a great car for that trip.
Yeah, I've been on that kick, wondering if I should get rid of the GT3.
I don't want to sell my GT3 because it's almost paid off, right? Because once it's paid off, it's free. You have it. and it's not going to, heavily depreciate.
Yeah, but
I mean, the overall market's going to move up and down. It's going to do what it's going to do, but these cars just don't lose value. I mean, my 2008 is worth more than it was when I bought it. So it's like,
see, I'd get rid of the GT3 and then use that money to buy one.
yeah, I mean, you could do that, or I could have 3.
I mean, you could swap the GT3 straight up for a turbo, I would imagine, right? Aren't they about the same price?
A .1 probably.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Or like a super high mileage .2. I mean, I've been exploring. Like you saw that post I made on Facebook. I was just wondering what the full bolt-on meth guys on the 991 and 992s were running 60 to 130. And
It was
it's
like 5 seconds, 6 seconds.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I
Thought it was going to be faster than that.
yeah, I thought it was going to be faster. I'm not saying that's slow. I just
Well, we're shooting
Well,
for like 4s and 3s, like high 3s, mid 3s, low 4s on a bad day kind of thing.
yeah, but there's just something to be said for minor modifications and a fast street car, and that's what I've been thinking lately. Is like maybe I do that because I'm not driving the 997. I don't know.
There's a 2017 911 Turbo, 9,348 miles on eBay right now. Buy it now, 165.
Oof.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Like 145.
Yeah, we're at a weird point because some dealers are still hanging on to the 160s and 170s and those .2s, and I've seen some drop into the 140s, 150s. So
yeah, I think 145 is the number for that car. I mean, the mileage on this one's nice. It's 9,000. I like to buy low mileage ones, but it has steel brakes and not particularly a whole lot of upgrades.
See, sometimes I like the higher mileage ones because I don't drive it every day, so eventually the age catches up to the mileage.
Yeah,
and then I'm not, but then you want, you got to wonder what goes wrong at those miles.
Yeah, like my Turbo has 27,000 miles on it, and my GT3 has 13,000 miles on it. But I never drive them. I mean, I do. But when the way you put miles on a car is like driving it to work every day, which I don't do, or driving whatever, like using it for transportation as opposed for entertainment.
Yep.
If you use the car like these kinds of cars the way they're meant to be used for entertainment, you don't really put a lot of miles on them.
I even submitted my GT3 to like gimmethevin.com just to see what they'd spit back.
See, here's
less than I would sell it for.
Here's another 2017 911 Turbo, 32,000 miles, 133.9.
That seems. Where is it?
It is Atlanta.
All right, what else we got to talk about?
The new Mustang thing, the
GTD.
The GTD. Ooh,
I am not impressed with how it looks. That's for sure.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they tried to turn a Mustang into a GT3. It's got cheese, like an RS, right? It's got like cheese graters on the front fenders, and then it's got the upside down, weirdo wing on the back.
Are these photos what it's actually going to appear like, or are these still kind of pre-production looks?
It's probably how it's going to be.
It's probably pretty close, right? I mean,
approximately 800 horsepower. I'm
sure it's going to perform very well, but it's just not a good looking car.
And it's $300,000.
Yeah, that's just, I don't understand the value proposition here exactly. Are they like trying to go after people that are independently wealthy that don't like German cars?
Well,
or Italian cars?
What's the production number going to be? I mean, is it low production numbers? I mean, I read a couple articles. I didn't really take a whole lot. Let's see. Oh, here. Between 1,000 and 2,000 examples reported by Car and Driver. See, I don't know, right? Like, I think they can command crazy prices for that kind of stuff if they do a real limited run.
Yeah. It just looks like it's got so much going on. It doesn't know what it's doing. I mean, it has everything. It has the same scoop as a 911, the same cheese grater side things.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
The rear, intakes on the side right above the wheels. Yeah, and the wing is under the strut, just like they did on the new 992 GT3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm certainly not sold on it.
And then I guess Ford's not even making them.
Well,
Oh.
that's a feature, not a bug.
Well, that's fair.
Who's actually making them?
Something with an M. I can't remember the name. Multimatic.
Oh, Multimatic, of course.
That sounds like an old transmission to me.
Yeah,
It does.
it sounds like the turbo retro encabulator.
It's
Yeah,
good.
multimatic. It's like something Hollywood says in a car show. It's a multimatic double carbureted.
Happen to be wearing the shirt today.
Oh, you do?
It has the what is it? The ambifacient lunar wane shaft. So that side fumbling is effectively eliminated, I believe.
All right. Well, have we insulted enough folks today?
No.
Have we insulted ourselves enough today?
I mean, if that's the goal, I can probably shed some light.
Well, let's do a recap on the shift sector points leaders, at least in the top 3 classes. We have the ethanol class. Tyler Mixon's leading at 17 points. I can't believe that the leader of that's how tight that class is. The leader has 17 points, and then Jaddy's in second place with 13 points. This is in the ethanol class.
Jaddy's my favorite now.
Yeah, we're rooting for Jaddy. And then Ames got 3rd and 4th place. Of course, Kristen, I believe that car is done. Juan is in 5th place. David Perlman's down in 7th, and then Taylor's our own Taylor has got 8 points, and that puts him ahead of Dave Briggs with 6 points.
It's gonna come down to the wire.
Hey, it's like literally the only time I'm going to be ahead of Dave Briggs.
Yeah, look at that.
So let's celebrate it. Circle it.
Circle
maybe
it.
Take a picture. I don't.
All right, so we have all-wheel drive class point standings. Mark Rao, number 1 leader right now with 24 points. Tim Hopkins in another Underground R8, 20 points. Curtis Adam in a Nissan GTR with 13 points. And then Sandy in a Gallardo with 11 points, and Nathan Sissio at 10 points. So that is the all-wheel drive class. And then the manual class points leaders are Blake Weaver, my fellow peasant, with 21 points. Sean, so Sean with AIM, he's got 21 points as well. And he got all of those points in Indianapolis.
That in one event.
Well,
that's why we thought it was so important to go to that one.
And so Sandy Murray,
3 days. That's right.
Sandy Moraney in the Gallardo, so he's also in this class too. He's got 11 points, and then followed by me with 10 points. Had I run one more lame duck run at 150 miles an hour, I'd be tied with him at 11 points. So, and then Kelly Esser in a Mazda RX-7 at 9 points. So that's the recap of the three big classes. And then going into Abilene, which is the last event, we'll see who shakes out the winners.
Okay, and we hope to be there. Is that?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be there. Taylor, you're going to be there. Dan,
I'm going this time.
All right,
I'm not going to wag my head.
I think I'm going to be there.
Because what did we say? We have to get home Sunday so we can fly out to Vegas on Monday for SEMA.
Yep.
Oh, I haven't booked for SEMA yet. I got to talk
Come
to you.
on.
I haven't booked my flight yet, but
No, you don't have to book your flight, but you got to book your hotel.
I do have that booked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I would be ready to go to an event by now, but everything is so slow.
Yeah. Things do take a while. I just like putting Jason to sleep. All right. So can we do this again next week?
Yeah.
Stay on schedule?
I think so.
Then that being said, this will conclude this episode of So You Think Your Car is Fast. Thanks for listening and or watching. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for listening to So You Think Your Car is Fast podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. Also want to thank Redenzo Radar, redenzorradar.com/BHT for discounts. And for discounts on lightweight batteries at Anti-Gravity Batteries, use discount code BHTR10. Go to antigravitybatteries.com. Also want to thank Evo Spec Engine Development, Forced Performance, and Driver Source.